Thank you so much, Pamela. Uh, well, I hadn't decided to talk about the Tony Blair Faith Foundation as such because my PowerPoint, my presentation is on Web 2.0 tools in the classroom. But since she's mentioned it, I'll just briefly introduce you to it. I work for the Tony Blair Faith Foundation, and we connect schools all across the world through video conferencing. And the students discuss Millennium Development Goals through the lenses of faith. And this is the foundation that was formed by Mr. Blair once he stepped down from power in 2008. So it's a very, very new organization, but the success of the program is huge. We have already got 180 schools all over the world, part of the program, and around 50 from India. So coming to my presentation for today. I have a video in a little while. Okay. Okay. That's the role of e-learning to enhance subject knowledge of students. I'll talk from a teacher's perspective because I've been a teacher throughout my life. I started my career as a teacher, ended up being a principal, and then moved on with the Tony Blair Faith Foundation. So I'm just going to talk about the simple tools that are available and which can be very, very effectively used by teachers. We just need to motivate them and give them ideas so that they can be as innovative and creative in the classroom. So what does the word ICT mean to you as a teacher? I don't see many teachers. Can I know how many of you are teachers or principals here? Good. That's a good number. I'll come out with more definitions of ICT than that we all know. Information communication technologies that we say ICT means. To me, ICT means more than that. It means information collaboration technology. Today is a world of collaboration. When the world is undergoing such drastic changes and turbulent times, I believe information collaboration technology can also stand for ICT. Information connecting technology. We need to connect globally, maybe through video conferencing or any other materials, or like iRadio we heard in the last session. And it also means information cultural change technology. The world is undergoing a humongous cultural change as well. The globalization is bringing people together and the cultures are mixing. So which is the direction that we need to go? Future Lab does a lot of work in ICT innovation in education. And they say the best way to predict the future is to build it. So a new report visualizes learning in a world where technology is embedded in everything we do and raises some important questions for educators. Educators just need to use simple tools into their classrooms, which students very, very effectively use. So technology may be the answer, but what was the question? We have come to an era where we think if we use technology, that's the end all, we are the best. But there are some places where technology is not the answer. In this case, I don't think the students require technology at all, or we need to use technology everywhere. This is the model of the school 1.0, where teacher delivers the content based on whatever government standards we have, and student act as minors reflecting the content skills back to the government. So it's learning, and then vomiting it out in the examination and not learning at all. This is the second. School 2.0 is the model that we are working on today. So students are co-learners with the teachers are the facilitators, and how do we empower the teacher? I think the time today requires empowering of teachers more than anything else. There's so much of money being spent on content development, which I feel should be, spent on teacher development and teacher empowerment. If you look at students, they do fabulous job. I did a workshop with students And it took them half an hour to do what the teachers usually take a whole day to do. So what are we looking for in the 21st century? The skills that we are looking at are developing critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, innovation, communication, collaboration probably. And how is it achieved? It's again achieved by what CCE tells us: group projects, participation, engagement, collaborative learning, communicating, information sharing. So what is a teacher now? She's probably a networked teacher who has so much available that she does not know what to use and what not to use. This was the process that was happening in school 1.0. There's a lot of input from the teacher. The process was very, very small, and there was a lot of output from the students. They would take what the teacher gave in and put it out. But the model now has changed to a small input, a lot of process work. Students engage, they work on projects, they work on researches, and then come out with an output. So how do we sustain this model? If we look at teacher input, and on the y-axis we look at the student output. If the teacher input is low and high and student input is low and high, what happens? If the teacher input is high, the student input is high in a normal model, that's the lecture method. If the teacher input is high and student does not input anything, it falls in that quadrant. If both of them do not input anything, it falls in the low quadrant. But with technology aided or empowering the educator to use innovative methods of teaching, which can involve technology and can be beyond technology as well, there will be low input from the teacher, but there will be high input from the student. It's just how we empower. So should we be spending money on digitizing the curriculum? I'm sorry to my co-panelists, because all of them come from that world, and I don't mean to offend you in any way, but these are my personal opinions. I feel that should be rather spent on developing structures to enable educators to enrich the curriculum. How can they enrich the curriculum? I'll just talk about some tools briefly. Maybe using something like PhotoStory 3, which is a freely downloadable software from Microsoft. I have some movies which I wanted to show the audience, which have been done beautifully by teachers from US, Sri Lanka, India. If I have time, this is a story about the American history. We didn't start the fire, Bill Joel's song. And this was done by a teacher in America, Mr. Alsop. It's beautifully done. Then you look at YouTube. YouTube has millions and millions of videos. It was only invented in the year 2006, and the way it's being used is amazing. For thousands of teachers, YouTube is more than a modern-day video store. It's a chance to redefine traditional education by engaging students in a format more tailored to the modern age. These are some quotes that I wanted to read out, but I'll skip them. Then there's something called TeacherTube, which is again similar to YouTube, but TeacherTube is a video file sharing site where educators are encouraged to share lesson plans, tips, and other instruction-based films. We should make use of these. You can interact with your fellow colleagues all over the world. It's very, very simple to use. You just have to register in and you can start using it. There's nothing complicated on it. You can download the videos, use them in your classrooms as you like. There's YouTube EDU for higher university programs as well. Then there's a tool called Wordle, which is again freely available. I've put the websites there. They're going to be putting up the presentation on their website, so you can just take it from there, which makes beautiful slides for your presentations, which can be used in the classrooms. You can use Audacity to record your own voices in the classroom. It's a simple, freely available tool. Mind mapping can be done beautifully with this mind mapper. And why should we do mind mapping? I think as teachers, we've always used mind mappers, but in a primitive format. There's this software called FreeMind. You can download it to your system and save it on your system and use it offline. You don't need to be online. It's the same with PhotoStory as well. You can download it, save it on your system and use it. You don't need to go into online every time to use it. And you can create mind maps like this. That's the link where you can download it from. There's a tool called Zamzar, which converts any kind of files to a different format. So if you're not able to run an AVI file, you can convert it into an FLV file, into a flash file. So usually teachers get upset saying, you know, it's an MP4 file, I can't run it into my classroom. Just go to Zamzar, upload the MP3 file, and download in whatever version you want. It could be an AVI, it could be an FLV, it could be any other QuickTime. You can use the social networking sites with your students. There's this site, Ning used to be a free site, but it's not free any longer. So you can use, just give me one more moment, grouply.com. There's an example of a school from Delhi. It's a DAV school, which has the Environment Club on the Ning website. And it's been having the Environment Club on the Ning social networking site for last 3 years. It's a paperless club. They do not make use of any paper. All their data is stored, all their files are stored online. All the members of the club have an access to it. It's not logged in a teacher's cupboard. All files are not there. You can just go online and view whatever you want. So teachers have used this website beautifully. I did a workshop for Sri Lankan teachers as well as Indian teachers, and they have accepted this tool so well. It's such a powerful tool that you can use it to create groups, converse with your students. It can be a very, very logged and safe group where only you and your students have discussions.